I used to blame my forgetfulness on just getting older, misplacing my keys, walking into a room, and forgetting why I was there. I'd just laugh it off as a senior moment, even though I was only in my early 40s. That all changed one Tuesday afternoon. My son, with his face just glowing, told me this long, hilarious story about his day at school. And that night, at the dinner table, I asked him to tell it again to the family. And I realized, with a jolt of ice in my veins, that I couldn't remember a single detail he had told me just hours before. It was terrifying. This wasn't just about my keys anymore. This was a precious memory stolen from me, and I had no idea why. It turns out that 5 of my supposedly healthy habits were the biggest thieves. In this video, I'm going to share what they are and how you can avoid making the same mistakes. Section 1. Memory Killer Number 1. The Productivity Myth. The first memory killer was something I actually took pride in: my ability to multitask. I'd answer emails during a video call, listen to a podcast while paying bills, and scroll the news while talking to my family. I thought I was being efficient. What we call multitasking is actually just rapid task switching, and it comes at a huge mental cost. Think about it. Every time you switch your focus, your brain has to disengage from one thing and redirect its resources to another. That process burns mental energy and prevents you from giving any single task the deep focus it needs to move from short-term working memory into long-term storage. Research suggests this fragmented attention leads to a more superficial processing of information, making it harder to form solid, lasting memories. Instead of being productive, I was just training my brain to be distracted, and my memories were paying the price. The fix for me was surprisingly simple: single tasking. I started using focus blocks, setting a timer for 25 minutes and dedicating myself to one thing. No phone, no extra tabs, no distractions. The difference was immediate. Section 2. Memory killer number 2. The non-stop hustle. Like many people, I thought success meant always being on. I'd eat lunch at my desk to save time and work for hours without a break. This sedentary habit felt like dedication. But a growing body of research shows that a sedentary lifestyle is a significant risk factor for thinning in the brain's medial temporal lobe region, critical for forming new memories. Sitting for prolonged periods reduces blood flow, so less oxygen and fewer nutrients reach your brain. Shockingly, some studies have found that even high levels of physical activity may not fully offset the harmful effects of prolonged sitting. In one study, participants who spent more time sitting were more likely to show this kind of brain thinning, regardless of how much they exercised. My hustle was contributing to the shrinkage of the very part of my brain that holds on to memories. The solution wasn't to work less, but to move more often. I started taking short, brisk walks during my breaks. Even just standing up while on a phone call can make a difference. It's all about breaking up those long, sedentary chunks of time. Section 3. Memory killer number 3. The stress endurance badge. I used to wear my stress like a badge of honor. Powering through high-pressure situations was a sign of mental toughness. But chronic stress is a silent assassin for your memory. When you're constantly stressed, your body is flooded with the hormone cortisol. In the short term, cortisol can be helpful. But over time, studies on both animals and humans show that chronically elevated levels can be toxic to the brain. This can cause the hippocampus, your brain's memory center, to shrink, which impairs your ability to form new memories and retrieve old ones. Chronic stress appears to damage the intricate connections your brain uses to store information. I thought I was being strong, but I was actually letting stress weaken my brain's essential wiring. The fix was to start actively managing my stress. I began a simple 5-minute daily mindfulness practice. Just focusing on my breath helped calm my nervous system and break the cycle of chronic stress. Section 4. Memory killer number for the relaxing nightcap. After a stressful day, I thought a glass of wine was a perfectly healthy way to unwind. And while it might make you feel drowsy, alcohol is incredibly disruptive to your sleep quality, particularly the REM and deep sleep stages that are essential for memory consolidation. It's primarily during the deeper non-REM stages of sleep that your brain does its housekeeping, clearing out toxins associated with Alzheimer's disease. This is also when your brain processes the day's events and stores important information in long-term memory. By having a drink before bed, I was robbing my brain of this critical maintenance and filing time. On top of that, recent large-scale data links even moderate drinking to reduced brain volume. One imaging study found an association where, in a 50-year-old, going from 1 drink a day to 2 was linked to brain changes equivalent to about 2 years of aging. I replaced my nightly wine with a cup of herbal tea and started a strict no-screens rule an hour before bed. The goal is to get 7 to 8 hours of quality, uninterrupted sleep. Section 5. Memory killer number 5. The alone time recharge. As an introvert, I always believed I needed a lot of alone time to recharge my batteries. While solitude is definitely healthy, too much social isolation can be surprisingly damaging. Humans are wired for social connection. Meaningful social interaction stimulates our minds, keeping our brains active and engaged in ways passive entertainment can't. Research from longitudinal studies has shown that people with strong social connections are less likely to suffer from cognitive decline and dementia. When I was recharging, I was often just passively scrolling on my phone or watching TV. I wasn't giving my brain the complex workout it gets from a simple conversation with a friend. This lack of stimulation can contribute to cognitive decline over time. This didn't mean I had to become a social butterfly, but it did mean I needed to be more intentional. I started scheduling a weekly call with a friend and joined a local book club. It's about finding quality interactions that positively challenge your mind. When I look back now, I'm so grateful for that terrifying moment at the dinner table. It wasn't my age stealing my memories, it was those 5 everyday habits I thought were harmless, even helpful. The good news: once I changed them, my memory started coming back sharper than it had been in years. I remember my son's stories now, the little details that make life feel wealthy and connected. The most empowering thing I've learned is that your brain is incredibly resilient. It's never too late to protect it and even rebuild what you thought was lost. Small, consistent changes like focusing on one task, moving throughout the day, managing stress, prioritizing great sleep, and staying socially connected can make a huge difference. So what about you? Which of these 5 memory killers hits closest to home? Drop a comment below and let me know. I read every single one, and I'd love to hear your story. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Welcome to the HealthyBillien family. We're all about practical, science-backed ways to feel sharper, healthier, and more energized every day. A special thank you to today's sponsor for making this video possible. If you're ready to take the next step in supporting your brain health, check out the link in the description below for my top recommended supplement. I personally use it every day and have noticed a real difference. Thanks for watching. Take care of that amazing brain of yours, and I'll see you in the next video. Namaste.